So hello and welcome YouTubers and Doctor Who fanatics to another Big Finish audio review, and today I'll be taking a look at a Lost Stories release, which is The Elite. Originally written by Barbara Clegg and adapted by Dorney, which stars Peter Davison as the Fifth Doctor, Janet Fielding as Tegan, Sarah Sutton as Nyssa for this full-cast audio drama, Found at Last. The Elite was requested by a fellow YouTuber known as TARDIS Guy123, so thank you very much for requesting this story. So if you want to skip straight to the review of The Elite and you don't want to see how this audio is presented, then there's the time right by there. If you have or haven't skipped, let's begin the video. So the cover art, we have Peter Davison as the Fifth Doctor, Nyssa and Tegan with the Dome City in the background, and right by here we have the High Priest. Yeah, Alex Mallison for the Lost Stories, they're very simplistic, but yeah, I still find them very creative covers, I do. And a nice bit of text with Found at Last by there, which I really love on the Lost Stories. And we have Doctor Who The Elite in capitals, which I do love. It reminds me of the 1 to 15 big finishes where they're all big, chunky and bold. I do love that, and it is 3.1. And for the back, it is directed by Bentley, and a very nice illustration by here, which says, "The Lost Story adventures which were originally devised for the Doctor Who television series, but never made, now available to hear for the first time," which I do like. I will place the description of the blurb of The Elite in the description, also with all the cast featured in the story, which I'll go over each of them in the review part of this video. So if we open it up, we have the booklet and the disc. With disc 1 it shows the Doctor and the companions, and then on disc 2 it will show the main enemy of the story, which you can see right by there. Installments from the Lost Stories with season 1, 2 and 3. And if we open the booklet up, we have the production notes from Dorney in July 2011. We have the behind the scenes pictures of all the cast featured in the story. And we have the concept art of the story. Yeah, it looks quite nice, it does, especially the Wastelands. And with the next installment being Hexagora, which, to be honest, doesn't really intrigue me, if I'm honest. It sounds more of a pure historical story, but I can't really say much, I haven't listened to it. But to be honest, when I look at this, I do feel like I do want to flip it over with... I think I prefer it, but this one to that. I don't know why, I may flip it over. Now to the review of The Elite. Even though it's a 2-hour story, there is a lot in this story, and it is very complex in some places. But don't let that frighten you about this story whatsoever. You know, you're probably thinking, oh, loads of stuff in a 2-hour story, it sounds a little bit cramped a little bit and just throwing too much in your face. I'll explain that more in the review. But yeah, you're probably wondering, I forgot to mention completely, I was going to do it at the start of the video, is why The Elite never became a TV story. Well, it was originally going to feature after the Arc of Infinity, but for reasons which I do not know, it just didn't happen to a TV story, so I'm guessing that Snake Dance replaced it. Yeah, I've looked everywhere and I cannot find information of why The Elite was cancelled. So for the summary of The Elite is where the Doctor wants to take Tegan and Nyssa to this Paradise Road, or how the Doctor says it, one of the most beautiful places in the entire universe, which is the planet Florana. And for some interesting trivia, is that the third Doctor, John Pertwee, wanted to take Sarah Jane Smith to this planet, but, you know, of course, the TARDIS energy was drained by the Exelon City. But what happens? The TARDIS goes off course and lands not really into a beautiful place at all, in a place scarred by chaos and war. So the surroundings of this story is very bleak, no hope, gritty characters which do not care about you whatsoever. Definitely captured the word war and chaos very well. And everyone who is fighting this war are doing it for the glory of the Elite. They say the Elite a lot in this story. And of course I'm not going to go anywhere near that. That's for all you to find out. And I won't go too far into the High Priest, but he has an interesting story that he's worshipped as a god. That he came down from the skies, and you know, all the people on the planet think this is the god came from the heavens, but they don't realise that there are planets and other forms of life out in the solar system, but they don't know that. And they deny it. And we'll say the High Priest is very interested, at some stage of the story, very interested about the Doctor. Yeah, as the story starts off, you can definitely sense that there's some quite horrible characters in this story, that some of the workers, for just to eat, they just get this small little pill, and I remember the Fifth Doctor offering them chocolate, and they never tasted anything like that before, and they thought it was the best thing they ever tasted. But one of the characters, which I believe Stemp or Ella, I can't remember which one it was, but really shouted at the Doctor for doing that, and he was sentenced, and he was going to be executed for a crime like that. I mean, for God, this is a place of really strict laws, and the Fifth Doctor in this were absolutely amazing. I actually feel bad of saying he's not really one of my favourite Doctors. He is absolutely brilliant in this story. What he does this one, he really does use threat as a weapon. You feel like you do not want to get on the wrong side of the Fifth Doctor. I believe he says to Stemp or Elevate, you don't want to get on the wrong side of me or you will regret it. The Fifth Doctor says something like that, and he says it very intimidating. You feel like, oh dear, I don't want to get on the wrong side of it. Yeah, Fifth Doctor, unbelievable performances right from the start. I was absolutely surprised of how well he was in this audio. Absolutely perfection. The Elite does feel like two Doctor Who stories. As it progresses, it does feel like the Time Warrior and School Reunion, because they are using young people, forcing them to learn and access these computer systems to fire artillery to win the war. And, when you hear the dialogue of the High Priest, it is predictable, I gotta admit, it is. But I even knew it when I didn't even get the story of what is the High Priest. I'll just leave it all to you, because I don't feel like it's my place to spoil it or even say about it on this video. So I'm not gonna bother. And in part 2, this is where the Time Warrior stuff comes into play quite a lot. Because the High Priest, he actually crash-landed on the planet, not came from the heavens as everyone thinks. After when he did crash on the planet, this is where all hell breaks loose on the planet, where it becomes a complete war zone. When you listen to the story, you can, tick to the Time Warrior, but it is quite similar. In part 4, things go absolutely nuts. There are so many other stuff I want to cover, especially more to the High Priest. But for reasons I just cannot do it, because it will spoil it. And to another character, but again, I want to leave him completely silent. You're probably thinking, I absolutely adore this story, and yeah, I absolutely do. And there's so many other things I want to cover, but the review will be too long. So yeah, let's go through the characters. So yeah, we'll go through Tegan and Nyssa, who they did their own stuff, I would say. The main cast are all splitted away from each other. In Nyssa's point of view, you can really tell the school reunion sort of thing, where all these young people are on these computers and, firing artillery and mind controlling them. Yeah, that's a very, very interesting part of the story, which, it clings to the school reunion for me. And for Tegan, she was sent to one of the factories, and yeah, very bleak surrounding as well, very gritty. And shown the landscape of this complete and utter wasteland of what's happened to the planet. Yeah, main cast, fantastic performance, especially Peter Davison, as I said. So for the supporting characters, we have General Aubron, who is a good character. He seems to more be this, at the start, this stubborn character, from what I can remember. But again, good performances, good character. Not a character for me which springs to me, to be the best. But still, good performances and a good role. Father Thane, which was played by Ryan Simpson, as you can tell, may have some connections to the High Priest, as he's called Father Thane. But I won't say what his intentions are, I'll just leave that to you. Very, very good performances. And for the other cast, which is Alaric, Stemp, Garthak and Ella, who are also very good as well. There is perfect casting in this. There's no one else which can top it off. Some of them are more memorable than others, I gotta admit that, but yeah, the main cast I think just shine the most in this story, and the enemies as well. Yeah, I'd say the allies which are on the main cast side, I think I find the most forgettable, but for the enemies on the opposite side, I think are more memorable by their dialogue. One of them with their strong dialogue, and one of them with their insanity. So overall, what do I think of the Elite? Fantastic piece of work this is. Utterly marvellous. I think it is my favourite Fifth Doctor story ever. Absolutely fantastic, strong performances, with a very bleak feel to it, especially in part 4. Is that how the hell is this going to settle down? How is this war going to stop? Well, I'm not going to tell you if it does stop or not, you just have to find out. And yet, would this happen into a TV story? I forgot to mention this. No, it wouldn't. In a way, it could have, but it would be very cheap. Absolutely cheap. The thing which wouldn't do it is the background and the ideas they had with the huge industries and factories. I think they would do the Wasteland pretty well. It'd be similar to Frontios. But the huge factory in the Dome City, with all the buildings in the background, it wouldn't work. They could probably do green screen, but it'd just look absolutely cheap, or billboards. You know, it would just look outdated, cheap, and crap. So I think this is a saving grace that this didn't happen to a TV story, because Barbara Clegg's original idea was going to be with young children, this one which are 10 years old, that everyone on this planet is extremely young and in their 20s. But in the original story it was going to be 10-year-olds in this, and it doesn't matter if it is the best story in the world, it's going to have a good cast, or it's not going to work. Yeah, I don't know why Barbara Clegg thought that was a good idea, or if he resigned it or not, but no, that was not a good idea. And Big Finish, of course, in the adaptation, they said, you know, why not make it 20-year-olds in the script? And, you know, they made it like they are 20-year-olds in the script. And it doesn't matter, they are still fantastic. And the twist at the end, it's very unpredictable, and it's a nice little twist, which I did not see coming. The Elite gets a 9.5 out of 10. It almost gets a 10, it does. The only thing, it's a tiny 0.5, because the supporting characters on the Doctor's side, or on the main cast side, are just a little bit forgettable. Overall, one of the best Big Finishes I've ever listened to. 9.5 out of 10. Strongly deserves it. Highly recommend you pick this up. So thank you very much for watching my review of the Elite, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.